Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, Pakistan and Bangladesh are entering in a new phase of engagement, a historic turning point in bilateral relations, marked by Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, Senator Ishaq Dar's landmark Dhaka visit after 13 years, revival of trade and connectivity, high-level military exchanges and cooperation in the areas of economy, education, diplomacy and defense. But with elections ahead in 2026 in Bangladesh and regional power dynamics at play, especially when it comes to Indian conspiracies and interference in the regional countries' internal affairs, a big question still exists. Can this momentum in the bilateral relations of Pakistan and Bangladesh lead to a long-lasting partnership? This is the big question. To get answer of this question and lots of others, we have in our studio Ms. Saira Rehman. She is international relations expert. Thank you very much, Saira, for your presence here. And Dr. Shujaat Farooq, he is the Director of Research at Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, Islamabad. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here.
Thank you.
And online joining us, Brigadier Retired Saeed Ghazanfar Ali. He is the Strategic Affairs Expert. Thank you very much for your precious time, Brigadier sir. Thank you for you joining us. First question to you, Saira. After the end of hardline era of the former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina Wajid, how do you see the recent historic two-day Bangladesh visit by the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, Senator Ishaq Dar? It was the first ever visit by any Foreign Minister since 2012 when the former Foreign Minister, Hina Rabbani Khar, actually visited Dhaka. And that was also to extend an invitation on T8 summit. So how do you see these changing dynamics between Pakistan and Bangladesh relations?
It's a very significant development and I would say positive development, because now there is a realization at global and at regional level that particularly after this Pakistan-India conflict, of 10th May, conflict, and I think this visit has both symbolic and practical weight, because for decades the Bangladesh politics or the Bangladesh regime had been captured by the hardcore and the Pakistan hatred regime led by Sheikh Hasina Wajid, and her ouster actually helped to build the ties between both the countries. And I would say that there is a lots of room of cooperation, and it's a very positive signaling from both the countries, and I would particularly give credit to the current regime caretaker setup of Bangladesh under Mr. Yunus, who has softer approach towards Pakistan, who has a wider approach for Bangladesh to have cordial ties, and I think it will have a lasting impact.
Your point well taken. Dr. Shujaat, Pakistan and Bangladesh signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, to establish a joint working group on trade. Earlier, the Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industries delegation also visited Dhaka and called for a free trade agreement or preferential trade agreement in between, covering the supply chain, the tariffs, customs and quality standards. Then bilateral trade, which is still hovering around $800 million, and consideration is, and both countries are actually enthusiastic to take it to $2 to $3 billion. What's your perspective? How much beneficial this joint working group is, and how vital it is to have this FTA or PTA in between?
Faisal Saab, if we look the trade volume between Pakistan and Bangladesh, it's quite limited. It's below $1 billion right now, just around $800 billion, and mostly in favor of Pakistan.
Yes.
And you know that unfortunately, if we look this region, due to aggressive nature of India, because you know that India is bullying all its neighboring countries. So that's why that this SAARC has lost the potential over the last 4 decades because it was established in 1985. And if you look many other regions like for example European Union, ASEAN and even now African countries, they are moving ahead. So that this vast potential that was totally underutilized due to a number of challenges. Despite that we have a common region, we have a shared struggled movement against independence, but challenges were huge and mostly they were that political challenges due to Bangladesh most inclination toward India. And that earlier certain Bangladesh policies, they were not in favor of Pakistan. So you can see for example that first you can see that there was no restrictive visa regime, there was separate counter for Pakistanis, there were no direct flights and there were certain non-tariff barriers. For example, there were deliberately delay in custom duties, etc., etc. So I think this that this joint working group that will work on all these dimensions where that people to people, business to business, and that certain visa restrictions, especially for the government, that employees.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that is totally abolished. So these sort of that these eliminations, they will definitely reduce the tariff barriers as well as that non-tariff barriers.
Your point well taken. Saira, Islamabad, Dhaka, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Shujaat, now the situation is changing. Islamabad, Dhaka actually abolished the mandatory visa requirements for officials and the diplomatic passport holders for at least for 5 years. Earlier abolished the special airport security desk for Pakistanis, simplified visa clearances. Whether visa regime would also be relaxed for the business community, investors, the journalists, students, or the common citizens, even the educationists, the academicians, and even the think tank people. While revival of the Dhaka-Islamabad direct air linkages definitely is on card, 2 Pakistani airlines got primary approval to operate direct flights. So they actually yet to start these flights basically. So how do you see these changing dynamics in between, especially to facilitate people-to-people contacts in any circumstances, whether they are officials, whether they are non-officials or the civilians?
Definitely, these are the signs of restoring the links, and it is a great diplomatic thaw. This initial, and it is a short-term beneficially, it will have short-term benefit for the at diplomatic and at government level. But gradually, as the things will move on, I think it will have long-term effects, and definitely it will help in improving the people-to-people contact, and particularly it will help in increasing the trade and tourism between the two countries. And it's a very positive development, and I think now there is a realization at the top level political leadership that there must be normalization in Pak-Bangla relationships, and I think they are working on it. And it will help in not only in in all the MOUs signed during this
at least 6 of the MOUs signed
are very helpful.
Definitely. And your point well taken. Brigadier sir, what's the core importance of the Dhaka's high-level military delegations to Islamabad visit, particularly since last January 2025? As earlier Bangladeshi Principal Staff Officer, Armed Forces Division, Lieutenant General S.M. Kamarul Hassan, then the Chief of Naval Staff of Bangladesh, Admiral Muhammad Nazmul Hassan, in February attended the Aman exercises, and now the Army Quartermaster General, Lieutenant General Faisal Rehman visited Pakistan. What's the significance of these high-level military engagements among each other?
Thank you very much, Faisal. The significance of these high-level military engagements or the political engagements or the economic engagements, if you have to really see it, you can read the Indian press, you can read Hindustan Times and the articles being published there. So you would realize, one would realize how important the ties between Pakistan and Bangladesh are going to be and what importance they have in the emerging global and in the emerging regional geostrategic and geopolitical scenario. Pakistan and Bangladesh, they were as till the time Bangladesh got separated from us, they were Pakistan Army. If you remember, go back into the '65 war. The regiment which defended Lahore when Indian attacked in 1965 in the morning, there was an East Bengal regiment, and they still celebrate that day. So Pakistan Army, the people in Bangladesh Army, now the generation has changed, but the ties and the remembrance and the legacy still stays. So whatever you sing today is not the product of one day effort. There have been number of visits by the Pakistan Army delegations, and there was a very important visit in January, from 21st January to 25th January. And reportedly, so it didn't come into the press, but it was reported by some sources that that delegation which visited the Chicken Neck and Siliguri corridor in a Bangladesh helicopter. A lot of hue and cry was raised by Hindustan Times and the Indian press and Indian military. And Pakistan said that it maintains very close relationship after coming of Dr. Yunus, even Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's memorial and all those memorials which were created by Hasina Wajid, because she was on the payroll of Indian Raw and on the payroll of Indian government. And similarly was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Why was he murdered? He was murdered because at that point of time, Colonel Farooq, who wrote the book, he said when we saw the results of the independence of Bangladesh, we came to the conclusion that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was maintaining very close contact with the timber smugglers, human smugglers, weapon smugglers, and even the smuggling young girls from Bangladesh to India. So we decided at that point of time that there is no more continuity of government of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and he was murdered. Sheikh Hasina and her sister Sheikh Rehana, they were studying in West Germany, so they were saved. But that killing, and now the whatever is happening in the government of interim prime minister, you can very well visualize that there are constantly a military visit and people to people visit, and the memorandum which have recently been signed, and they have got very good clauses other than the defense collaboration, which is of course very important from the security, from the technology, and from the strategic scenario, because Bangladesh army is basically a very small army. It has got 1,60,000 troops in its strength. It only has 38 aircrafts, and it has got only 2,229 tanks and another 3,000 artillery pieces. So naturally, Bangladesh faces a very strong enemy. Now that is India, and India, their clashes with India in Chicken Neck and Siliguri corridor have come into
Under
the
the
open.
under the Bangladeshi vision of 2030 for the defense equipment procurement and all that, they are realizing, and that's why they are giving too much importance to Pakistan, and rightly so. Brigadier Sahib, with Dhaka signaling a willingness to extend defense cooperation with Islamabad through recent high-level visits and the level participation in the Aman 2025, how realistic are the prospects of Pakistan-Bangladesh defense collaboration in training, technology and joint exercises, given that Indian factor, past mistrust and Dhaka's balancing act between New Delhi, Beijing and Washington?
See, first of all, the India doesn't matter in between the collaboration or the ties or the military ties, economic ties, people-to-people ties between Bangladesh and Pakistan. India can raise its fear wherever they feel like. A very important thing which you must keep in mind is that Bangladesh foreign advisor Saeed Hussain, he had visited China also, and now Bangladesh is willing to join SCO also, and SCO is a very important forum for the regional security. Moreover, as I said, that Bangladesh would like to strengthen its army, would like to equip its army. And there is a common factor of China between Bangladesh, Pakistan, and between Bangladesh and Pakistan. Recently, a proposal was floated that since SARC has become ineffective, so there should be a new organization comprising Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, Afghanistan, and other countries in the region. Pakistan has the expertise in training, in equipping, in the manufacturing side, and even in guiding Bangladesh strategic imperatives. That's why there is a collaboration between the Institute of Strategic Studies Islamabad and Institute of Strategic Study Dhaka. So what would happen is that the policies which Bangladesh is going to make in relation to their own border issues with India or in relation to their issues, military issues in the region, it will have an input from Pakistan also, and Bangladesh and Pakistan joining together, they give a lot of strength to this region, which is already undergoing a lot of security challenges. Because you see, the whole security paradigm is being exploited and being poisoned by Indian attitude, which is helping the terrorist forces like separatist forces, which are which are undertaking terrorist activities in Pakistan. Leaving that aside, Pakistan's defense collaboration with Bangladesh, along with, you see, there have been in the memorandum, one thing else has been mentioned, that 500 students from Bangladesh will come to different institutes in Pakistan, and 100 civilian
Definitely. You are
officers.
absolutely right. And regarding this aspect, because India is not only interfering in pushing this terrorism into Pakistan from the third country, but also interfering in Bangladesh through Cox's Bazar and through Arakan Army and all that from Myanmar border. So it is no doubt that India is basically a destabilizing factor within South Asia. Dr. Shujaat, what was the significance of the Federal Minister of Commerce Jam Kamal Khan's visit to Dhaka on August 21st, 2025, engagement with the Bangladeshi advisor on commerce and agreement on revival of Joint Economic Commission was actually halted since 2005. How vital it is to define the roadmap for advancing the existing bilateral trade relations, set goals for the future commercial ties, and define steps to achieve all these objectives and targets.
Faisal Sahab, I think this Joint Economic Commission, as you have mentioned, it was established in 2005, but it was totally non-functional. And you can see that overall the SAARC was stagnant. So I think right now Bangladesh and Pakistan, and especially the China, they have strategized that we will build economic ties, and you can see that these ties you can see on security side, on economic side, and as well as that on other aspects. So even I think despite of all these challenges, Pakistani investors, they have a crucial role in Bangladesh exports, especially that in textile sector. Definitely. As well as in leather sector. So I think this Joint Economic Commission, as well as that joint working group, they will build certain that policy level decisions as well as operational level decisions through which that you can build certain mutual cooperation on commerce side, on trade side, infrastructure side, as well as that investment side. And especially I would think that we should also learn from Bangladesh, especially that how to boost your exports. For example, I can give you example that in 2001 their exports were just $5 billion and we were at $10 billion. So right now we are struggling with just $30 billion exports, and Bangladeshi exports are more than that $55 billion. So first that you can see that their 80% exports are comprises on textile side, and despite of that they don't produce raw cotton. Unfortunately, we are an agrarian country. We were net producer of cotton, but right now that they are just that importing the that certain raw material, fabricating it and re-exporting. So basically they have developed a good value chain of that on cotton side. 2-3 examples. First, that they have comparatively more competitive advantage on textile because of energy prices. So we must have to learn.
They have the cheap energy.
Second, how they have eased the business and lowering the cost of doing business. So here you know that lot of regulations and government policies we must learn from that. And third, you know that especially they have a lot of women they are employed in this textile sector. So
In every sector.
In every sector.
In every sector.
So
Their
unfortunately,
workforce,
unfortunately in Pakistan over last 25 years, still our labor force participation, that is just 20 to 25%, the lowest, you know, that in South Asia and almost, you know, that in
Definitely,
whole
and
world.
even they are
Yeah.
importing raw materials from across the world, but
Yeah.
that raw material also, I am not saying it cheaper, but at the considerable price that is available. That is not much at the higher price. So you are absolutely right. Saira, how will Pakistan-Bangladesh knowledge corridor, rightly mentioned by Dr. Shujaat as well, contribute in bilateral relations, as Islamabad offered 500 scholarships, Brig also mentioned, to Bangla students during the next 5 years, and the scholarships under the Pakistan Technical Assistance Program would also increase from 5 to 25. So Islamabad also extended the training courses for at least 100 of the Bangladeshi civil servants as well. So how do you see this collaboration? Because these sort of collaborations always long lasting.
Long lasting, yes, you are so right. Faisal Sahab, actually the knowledge related initiatives, they always create constitutional goodwill. And I think it will always have long lasting impact. Just imagine when the student, and they have the capacity to transcend the leadership changes and to thaw the diplomatic tensions. First of all, it's a very, very positive development, and it will have lasting impact, and particularly from the lens of people to people contact. Just imagine when the students will study here, when the Bangla students will study here in Pakistan, they will go back to their country with new exposure, with new knowledge, with the new understanding of Pakistan, which will definitely help to have a different lens, to have a different approach in the young youth or in the people of Bangladesh regarding Pakistan. And it is the very good and the first sign of soft diplomacy, because if soft diplomacy will always helps to have a long lasting impact irrespective of the regimes. Irrespective of the regime changes. So whatever the regime, new regime will come, if this
Because
knowledge
there
related
must have to be
initiative
strong relationship among the people of each
other, then definitely. And if this knowledge related, this knowledge corridor, the whole idea of is implemented sincerely, it will have long lasting impact in shaping perceptions. Then people to people diplomacy, it will help greatly in that regard, and then the regional balancing. Because it will have direct political and strategic impact as
Definitely those students interact with the common people here in Pakistan.
So,
they also roam around the country. They will have visits to different sites. So they would have some sort of a mindset developed. So they get actual flair and actual feel of Pakistan. That what basically Pakistan is. And it is not what they have actually watched or seen or heard through the Indian lenses. So I think so that is the valid point.
So such intellectual and people to people or people centric initiatives always help in having a long lasting and long term
Definitely, this is what both governments actually want. So we hope that will be done soon. But Dr. Shujaat, with the Karachi-Chittagong direct shipping route revived after 52 years, cutting shipping time from 40 to at least 12 days. That is the huge leap forward. At least reducing the costs and the third country trade aspects. Then Dhaka eased trade by waiving at least 100% cargo inspections. That was also a very painful process when it comes to Pakistani exports to Bangladesh. What additional measures are actually needed to deepen Pakistan-Bangladesh economic ties, particularly this trade, improving the connectivity, trade logistics as well, and diversity in export portfolios?
So Faisal Sahab, as you have mentioned that this Chittagong to Karachi time, that was 42 days, and now we want to reduce it more than 3 times. So it tells you a lot of story. So you know that there were a lot of non-tariff barriers, like for example, custom clearance, lack of direct shipping routes, etc. So as Madam has mentioned that we require certain.
Actually,
you know, that,
earlier
yeah.
our cargoes were
routed,
shipping was happened. Cargoes were going towards third country,
third
and
country.
then
So
having the transshipment because there were lots of restrictions to the Pakistani direct Pakistani
Yeah,
cargo
absolutely.
over
So there was no direct shipping route. So I think we require a lot of trust building. So this trust building, that will help us to boost, you know, that commerce activities, business activities, as well as, you know, that trade activities.
Definitely.
So certain things, I think this Joint Economic Commission group as well as working group, they will facilitate that. So there is discussion that we will review our, you know, that preferential trade agreement with Bangladesh. We will reduce the tariff. There is already a lot of discussion that we will reduce these non-tariff barriers, but you know that certain things we require to in order our own house to facilitate this trade. So for example, we require to modernize our ports as well as, you know, that to modernize our railway, especially in Pakistan. So that is one major reason, because you can see that our most of the export hubs, they are in Faisalabad, in Lahore, in Sialkot. So it required a lot of time, you know, that
restricted to one or two cities. So we have to spread it across the country.
So we have to spread, and especially, you know, that we have to develop certain export processing zone, especially near to Karachi, because you know that it will definitely.
And we have to diversify our ports as well, because but emphasis on only a couple of ports in Karachi is going to be.
Second thing is that we have to develop certain direct, you know, that maritime routes.
Yes.
So right now, you know, that we don't have efficient maritime route, and if you look the infrastructure and logistic infrastructure in Pakistan, we are, I think, among the lowest 10 countries.
Actually, we need to incorporate some of the private sector in shipping as well, because the shipping lines are also not.
So there are a lot of areas where, you know, that mutually benefit could be exist, but definitely these logistic dimensions, infrastructure dimensions, we have to carefully look at.
Definitely, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right, Brigadier Sahab. What about Bangladeshi armed forces' extreme interest in having training? We have already discussed, but the procurement of the defense equipment, especially when it comes to JF-17 Thunders, the fast attack craft for its navy, because of lots of riverine area in Bangladesh, Al-Haider tanks, they are very interested. One of the delegation visited. Then Fateh multi-launch rocket system, MLRS, small arms ammunition from Pakistan, having intelligence sharing, joint exercise and cooperation in the security domains as well, because Bangladesh is also confronting some of the extremist or terrorist elements on the behest of India.
Yes, you're right. And these terrorist activities in Bangladesh, in my perception, are going to increase in times to come. Because now RAW will infiltrate, as the Prime Minister, the interim minister, has recently given a statement about the chicken neck and about the Siliguri corridor and said it belongs to Bangladesh. So if direct contact between Bangladesh and India lessens as compared to what was in the time of Sheikh Hasina Wajid, so I fear that there will be enhancement of the terrorist activities because India relies on the terrorism. The terrorism in other countries is a state policy of India. What happened in Canada, what happened in America, what happened in Qatar, it's ample proof that India undertakes terrorism in other countries as part of their state policy. So in this context, in this perspective, there's a lot of importance for Bangladesh to attach security-related aspects in their policies and procurement of security-related, whether technical or non-technical equipment, into their armed forces and into their law enforcement agencies. You know, till the time Sheikh Hasina Wajid came into power, we used to have Bangladesh officers coming to our staff college, our infantry school, our armored school. They used to attend courses with us. It was only stopped when Sheikh Hasina Wajid took over, because you know that Sheikh Hasina Wajid is an agent of Indian RAW, and she, when she was studying abroad, there report that the whole of the study was financed by the Indians, and the whole of their study expenditure and the expenses of our sister were being sent from India to Sheikh Hasina Wajid. So she proved that she is an Indian agent, because where his father had first Mukti Bani conference and where Mukti Bani was formed in Agartala. She flew from Dhaka to Agartala, cementing the
Definitely,
impression that
she was back to her masters, no doubt about that. So, Brigadier Sahab, absolutely right. You are absolutely right in your approach. Beside conventional security, what are the prospects of Pakistan, Bangladesh to cooperate on non-traditional threats such as the joint disaster risk reduction cooperation? Because Bangladesh is facing disasters like Pakistan from the last many years, the climate change and environmental challenges, then public health crises like dengue outbreaks, coordinate maritime patrols against the illicit trafficking and the intelligence sharing on transnational organized crimes, smuggling, human trafficking and narcotics. So how do you see, because these non-traditional threats are actually surging like the main threats right now?
Pakistan can give a lot of input, not in the form of the words, but in the form of the material, in the form of the equipment, in the form of the technical and non-technical gadgets to Bangladesh. Because Bangladesh today has only 38 Air Force aircraft. Out of this, three are MiG aircraft, which are Russian, and then there are 35 F-7, and then there are very limited helicopters. So actually, in Bangladesh, along with the river and mobility, you need the mobility to reach to those areas which come under threat in different dimensions of the internal security or the external security. As there have been a lot, I told you that the visits between Pakistan Army, a regular visit, which is the Pakistan Armed Forces senior officers and the Indian and the Bangladesh Armed Forces officers, it started somewhere in January. It was in last December and in January that Pakistan very high level delegation, which included some of the officers from our security agencies, also visited Bangladesh, and they apprised Bangladesh of their external threat and internal threats. Now, recently, as you said, there was a visit by the Bangladesh, about 16 or 10 members delegation which came to Pakistan. They visited Pakistan ordnance factories and they stayed there for 3 days. And Pakistan ordnance factories vacant and they inspected different, because Pakistan ordnance factories, Pakistan POF is very is a state of art. It is making state of art small arms ammunition, machine guns, rifles,
And one of
and
the
then
delegation
similarly,
also
they
visited
provide
heavy industries Texla as well. They examined the Al-Haidar tank and all that.
all these things which are related with strengthening their power potential. Because whatever the case may be, whether it's a disaster related, whether it is natural calamities related, whether it is diseases related, or whether it is narcotics related. Pakistan has a very comprehensive anti-narcotics structure in the shape of ANF. And ANF cooperates with the DAI, which is the world leading narcotics controlling agencies. So all those expertise which Pakistan has, as I told you, it is going to be transformed between two countries. It is going to be exchanged between two countries, not in the form of words only, in the forms of the material, in the forms of the policies, in the forms of the cooperation. And as Pakistan is working very closely on production of military weaponry also, it is working very closely with the space technology. The Baidu space satellite, which is the Chinese satellite, it is one of the leading satellites of the world. It has
It is
43
actually
further.
the satellite system which you are talking about, Beidou satellites. These are satellite systems basically operating constellation satellites. They are there by China and they are facilitating Pakistan as well. And Pakistan has a close cooperation regarding space with China as well, no doubt.
So naturally, Pakistan is going, and then you see what the space satellites, not the space only which matter. It is the intelligence which those satellites and with those the technical equipment provide to you, and that is not related to the nation states borders only. We know what's happening in the regional countries. We all know what's happening in the border countries. When Pakistan shot Rafale, Pakistan released the picture that where the debris of Rafale was lying and where was it shot and all the technical equipment where it was gathered through the satellite. So what I mean to say
They
is
have given
that
even
if
the
you
radio
relate
communication
anything,
among the pilots of Rafales, no doubt about that, really.
yeah, you come onto the agriculture, you come onto the pest control, you come onto the defense technology, you come onto the security imperative, you come into related to the security equipment. whatever you can, Bangladesh Army, as per the Global Firepower Index, is the 35th largest army in the world, and Pakistan Army ranks to 12 out of the 145. Actually, though that strength which Pakistan gained, which Pakistan had before 1971 also. 1971 was a debacle because of the Indian interference. Otherwise, it was not so easy that Bangladesh could, the East Pakistan could have become Bangladesh. But now, since that has
Definitely.
happened, Pakistan Army
Brigadier
depends
Sahib,
on.
your point well taken. Your point well taken. Saira, with elections due in Bangladesh in February 2026 under the Yunus administration, political change in Dhaka appears likely. There is no doubt about that. While Pakistan seeks to enhance its ties with the Bangladeshi political parties, how vital the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar's engagements, not only with the government of the Chief Executive Mohammed Yunus, but also with other key political forces such as the Bangladesh National Party, BNP, Jamaat-e-Islami, and the emerging National Citizen Party, that whole of the youth movement that has actually ousted the former Prime Minister.
I think you have touched a very, very critical question and a very important question. Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister's Mr. Dar's visit is a very at this time and has a very strategic importance because there is no doubt that under this administration, caretaker government under Mr. Mohammed Yunus and with the elections which are going to be held in next February, definitely there will going to be political flux in Bangladesh. There is no doubt about it. And the meeting of Mr. Dar with all the major political parties of Bangladesh are important and gives a signal to all the major political actors of the Bangladesh that Pakistan is sincere and is willing to cooperate and to have bilateral relations at all levels in all sectors with Bangladesh, irrespective of who wins the elections or who comes in the power. So I think with this and it's a very, very strategic and politically important, and it gives such a positive impression to all the political parties of Bangladesh, and it portrays a picture of Pakistan. And Pakistan, I would rather say, that secures a relationship with all political parties and portrays itself as a collaborative partner.
Definitely a strong message given to Bangladesh that Pakistan actually wants its long-term relation with the people of Bangladesh. Because political parties are actually the representatives of the people, no doubt about that. Dr. Shujaat, what about the bilateral industrial cooperation among Dhaka and Islamabad? You rightly mentioned about that we should have to learn how to enhance our exports to the different regions of the world from Bangladesh particularly. Also to attract the bilateral investments and the joint production in high potential sectors such as information technology, the steel industry, the green shipping, ship cycling, ship recycling particularly, and ship building as well. Textiles, the leather, the agro processing, the minerals, construction, halal trade, sugar, rice and renewable energy even. So how do you see that, how can we enhance first the industrial cooperation, second how to build upon the potential sectors which are of high yield?
Faisal Sahab, as I have mentioned earlier that right now trade volume is below $1 billion. So there is a vision that we have to increase it to $3 to $4 billion. And there are a lot of common mutual areas, especially in terms of trade, where we can learn from each other. So especially, for example, if you look the agro processing zones and you know that textile, Pakistan is an agrarian country. So these are the areas where we can you know that there is lot of capacity where trade can be increased, and even you know that we can build the capacity of Bangladesh. Another area, for example, that is you know that halal meat and IT, again lot of potential is there. Right now, even Bangladesh IT exports and Pakistan IT exports, they are not too much. And both the countries, they have the vision that we have to increase. For example, even in Pakistan, if we look the Udan document, we are perceiving that
we have the highly skilled youth as well, highly educated.
And especially, you know, that both the countries, they are in a demographic transition phase where, you know, that we have lot of youth. From Bangladesh, we can learn, especially in shipping industry, in fish, and there are many other areas where we can. So overall, I think we should acknowledge and thankful to India that they have created a lot of vacuum for us, especially in Bangladesh. And we must have to utilize this vacuum. As Madam has mentioned, that we require soft diplomacy, we have to build the image, and for this we have to make the leverage, especially to build our economic ties with this political economy lens, as well as, you know, that strategic economic lens, and that require people to people relation, as well as, you know, that business to business relation.
If you look around, I think so there are lots of room, lots of vacuum which is already left by India, and it is because that India is completely isolated in the region, not only in the region but globally. So we have lots of room across the region and across the globe. The important thing is that we should have to move with sincerity, and for Pakistan only. That is more important. The pivot must have to be that. Saira, would there be any progress about the revival of SAARC? Because earlier, Dr. Saab was mentioning about, because SAFTA was the real linchpin when it comes to the trade among the regional countries. As Pakistan and Bangladesh both actually are eager to revive it, we remember that in December 2024, when there was a meeting in Cairo, Egypt, regarding D8 summit might be, the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and the Chief Executive of Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus, they were both agreed upon the idea that we have to revive it, because Bangladesh was the pioneer country from where the SAARC originated. So Pakistan actually has to hold that summit in 2016, but it was because of the Indian hegemonic designs and hurdles and blockade that supported the Hasina's government and also some of the regional countries, and the summit was blocked actually. So how do you see, what about this revival of this important regional platform among all the regional countries?
It's because since now the politics is more revolved around regionalism. The more we are regionally stable and regionally connected, the more there are chances of peace and stability in the world.
Definitely.
First of all. And SAARC was a very important and a crucial regional platform, which was unfortunately got being held hostage by the India. Definitely because of its hegemonic designs and because of its sinister designs against Pakistan. The ultimate target was Pakistan, to isolate it and not to make this forum a dead forum, and in which they were successful in doing that. But fortunately, and with the help of with the changed circumstances, with the ouster of Sheikh Hasina Wajid, now the softer and the approach.
And then this the success, Pakistan's overwhelming success in this limited war against India.
Yes, that
has
also opened
the
door.
Whole of the scenario.
Yes, that has opened the doors, and I think it's very important to revive the SAARC against the India-centric regional forums, BIMS, STEC, BIMSTEC, and other regional forums. However, there are certain challenges like stability or unstable Afghanistan is one of the reasons, is one of the challenges. But for regional stability, for economic connectivity, and for diplomatic leverages, I think it's very important. And I think Pakistan and Bangladesh, though the leadership of both the countries are sincere and they are politically willing to revive this forum, and there are other small countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal, they have also shown their consent, and they are shown their willingness to revive this forum. And I think now there is a need to re-engage these smaller countries to revive this forum.
Definitely, definitely, no doubt about that. Thank you very much, Saira, for your presence here in the studios. Thank you very much, Dr. Shujaat, for your presence in the studios. And I'm thankful to you, thank you very much for your presence online and very candid views. Viewers, you have just listened to our panelists. No doubt that Pakistan-Bangladesh rapprochement is significant, entirely vital, and no doubt that it has this regional dimensions, and both countries are fortunate that we are now coming back on track and are now with some MOUs, 6 of the MOUs, very vital for the people-to-people contacts, having diplomatic engagements, and obviously among academia and the think tanks and all that. So it's very important. Bangladesh and Pakistan bilateral trade is still a concern because that is less than $1 billion. Some of the encouraging aspects like visas simplification, along with that these direct flights which are going to start in between, the facilitation of the Pakistani passengers at the airports and ports, and also the direct shipping route between Karachi and Chittagong. These are the very significant subjects when it comes to enhancing trade volume in between, but we have to do a lot to enhance this trade, and Pakistan has to learn a lot regarding how to enhance exports, because Bangladesh is standing right at the $55 billion trade and we are still lagging behind, so we have to work on that. Although this Joint Economic Commission and Joint Working Group on Trade is going to help a lot both the countries to enhance economic and trade relations in between. The high-level military delegations visiting time and again from Pakistan and from Bangladesh as well. So there are lots of scopes and lots of prospects there to enhance these relations, particularly when Bangladesh Air Force, Navy and Army all need lots of defense equipment, and Pakistan is here to support our brothers there in Dhaka with the JF-17 Thunders, Al-Haider tanks, fast attack crafts, training crafts, and even joint trainings, joint exercises. And Pakistan can have the very brilliant training facilities for the capacity building of the Bangladeshi armed forces. And Bangladesh is also eager to join Shanghai Cooperation Organization. That is going to be very significant when it comes to the relations between Pakistan and China with Bangladesh. And also there are avenues of space cooperation. There would be elections in Bangladesh in 2026. So Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Senator Ishaq Dar's meetings with the political parties actually show significance that Pakistan wants to strengthen this bond of brotherhood with the people of Bangladesh, because the political parties are actually the representatives of the people. So this drive is going nice, and engagement between Pakistan and Bangladesh is really encouraging for the regional peace, stability and prosperity. This is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.